Hello everybody and welcome back to the Slothz team with me, Dan, and well, we're on F122, funnily enough. I don't actually remember what I was doing. It was about 3 weeks ago that I actually last played this game, and yes, we released a video yesterday with parts of past me talking over it. I think we picked up a sponsor. I think that might have been the last thing I did on the game, actually, was pick up a sponsor. We've got some money, though, to spend. We'll have to give it to Teo Porcher, though, in a few, 14 days, few days' time. When his contract renews. Looks as though we've done some good things here. I'm basically just refreshing myself on absolutely everything. Looks like there's nothing to do, so I'm just going to advance through to the race weekend. We've got, what by the looks of things, another Pirelli hot lap, which I don't remember liking too much. Damn it, we'll do a checkpoint challenge. I think there's only one way we're going to get through this one. Please don't give me a penalty. Damn it! Right, well, here we are. Let's get underway with our quick practice. We've changed back to the 25% distance races for my sanity, if anything. And to encourage me to continue doing these races, because, if anything, sitting around at the back of the grid for 45 minutes is not fun. Even at the minute where we, well, in the last video, as you saw, and the one before that, we are close to the points, if not in it. It's still not fun. Right, and we'll get some more resource points on the go for this. It looks as though we're quite heavy on the ERS upgrades for this set of practice tasks. We've yet again run out, but we've managed to pick up at least 2 for the ERS and 1 for the drag reduction system. Yeah, interesting selection. Alright, time for the final set. That is a ridiculous amount of time for 60 resource points, so let's go for this one. And, oh god, okay, maybe I'm eating my words already. We should go for a... No. Guess we'll go for ERS and drag reduction then. Yep, there we go, there's one. Let's try and get the second one. Yep, don't really want the fuel efficiency, but we have run out of time, so let's get underway with qualifying. Well, it's underway with qualifying from future Dan, only a week ahead of the making of this video. But yeah, we come down to the finish line here for our first run, and it's not too impressive, actually, compared to everyone else. So it's time for a second go. As you can see, we've dropped all the way down to the bottom of the table as we plough towards the line. It's not going to be looking very good compared to Joe Guan Yu, and it isn't. Okay, admittedly, not the best qualifying that we've done so far this season, but I am a little out of practice. The other thing that I didn't do is just have a look at the progress history. Yes, Williams have eked out another advantage over us since the Austrian Grand Prix. So that will be playing in slightly as well. If we go over to the upgrades, off the top of my head, I feel like the magnetic compound was the one that we really wanted to get next, but we could go for pistons after we've got the cylinder head. We could also afford cable assembly, which would be a nice big boost to weight reduction, or drag reduction with these wing mirrors, which is fairly cheap. And I think I'm going to do the wing mirrors. That will put us ahead. Oh, we've reached capacity already by doing the Venturi tunnels. Ah, okay. In that case, let's go for the weight reduction instead to give us an advantage over some of our backmarker rivals. And if there's anything else we can afford, obviously not from here, doesn't appear as though there is, then we will crack on with the race then, I guess. And it's raining, so this should be fun. Well, here we are for the French Grand Prix. This is, of course, round 8, making this the midway point in the season. It has taken quite a long time to get here, and hopefully, if I can get my act together, it won't take anywhere near as long to get to the season finale, and then we'll be able to enjoy some of the chaos that we're expecting with the changes in driver lineup into Season 2. We'll just have to see exactly what goes on there. But for now, we'll have to deal with the starting grid, I guess. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As we see, once again, Carlos Sainz leading the pack away ahead of his teammate Charles Leclerc, followed by George Russell and Lando Norris in the lead Mercedes and McLaren, followed by the two Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Then behind them we have Lewis Hamilton in the other Mercedes and Danny Ricciardo in the other McLaren. And finally, rounding out the top 10, it's Kevin Magnussen and Valtteri Bottas. Behind them, we have the other Haas of Mick Schumacher. He's alongside the lead AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda. Then we have Fernando Alonso alongside Pierre Gasly, who has a hilarious track record at this Grand Prix. We'll see if he actually finishes. They're followed by the two Aston Martins of Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll, followed up by Esteban Ocon, another man here at his home Grand Prix, and Zhou Guanyu. Then on the penultimate row, we have the two Williams of Alex Albon and Nicholas Latifi, followed by, you guessed it, the Sloth Tech duo of Théo Pourchaire and Radiant Sloths. Well, here we go then. It's absolutely disgusting out there with the rain absolutely pouring down. We knew it was coming from the weather report in the team headquarters. Anyway, down we go towards turn 1. And we're going to be taking a very timid approach on the way down here, as we've not driven too much in the wet on this game yet. But as you can see, we're starting to challenge the Williams and Nicholas Latifi. Not that is a great achievement, but that Williams is one of our biggest rivals at the moment as we come down towards turn 3. Nearly running into the back of Nicholas Latifi there as he breaks right offline in front of us, but we managed to sneak our way up the inside in this little complex section, plant ourselves into P20 behind the other Williams of Alex Albon as we come onto the main straight now. Nicholas Latifi looking a little racy. We know this is going to be a struggle because the AI do push quite considerably on the first lap, as well as at the end. You can see Théo Pourchaire there nearly caught up to the back of us. Unfortunately, Nicholas Latifi gets past. We'll continue the chase down towards this flat-out right-hander into another section. And there we go, just confirming with the race engineer, not Jeff, that the rain will be here to stay for the whole race, so no changeable conditions, unfortunately, to throw some interesting strategies into the mix. Although we know how that paid off in the Austrian sprint race for us, it did not go very well whatsoever. So let's stop talking about that for now and focus more on the French Grand Prix, as we're all over the back of Nicholas Latifi as we come around the final corner and start the chase towards the finish line. Again, Williams edging out a little advantage over us. As you can see, this is not post the recent update, so as far as I'm concerned, these cars are still around about the right competitiveness for us. Well, hopefully it's not too bad when I attempt to do what I believe is the Hungarian Grand Prix later today. And maybe I'll actually upload that one on time as we go up the inside of the Williams again at the same corner. This time we don't have the traffic of Albon and Zhou Guanyu in front of us, but we've successfully got past him. Will he fight back as before as he runs slightly wide there over the curb? Looking at the times on the left-hand side and a quick look behind. No, he is gaining on us very slightly, but Nicholas Latifi will have to settle for behind us. And there we go, we get to destroy a bollard, as we love to see as it goes flying across in front of us in the second part of the corner. Just what you want to be seeing. And we rejoin what is a slightly nicer bit of weather going on here on lap 5. But we're still stuck just behind Alex Albon, Nicholas Latifi and our teammate miles behind us. We've got a yellow flag. And there is Pierre Gasly. It is mandatory on this channel that Pierre Gasly does terrible at the French Grand Prix. It looks as though he has managed to get it going then, so he may potentially reach the end of the race for the first time on the channel. We will, of course, see near the end if he is able to achieve that. As for us, though, just under 3/4 of a second, or over 3/4 of a second back from Alex Albon, and still not able to make any progress. Not much fighting going on up ahead to slow these guys down. Just going to have to settle into P19 now and hope that Pierre Gasly doesn't catch up as we go on board for the spin. And looks like he accelerated over the curb and then partway through his spin accelerated a second time, which caused him to nearly careen into the barriers. And he rejoins at the back of the field behind Théo Pourchaire. As we go and watch the other AlphaTauri now of Yuki Tsunoda coming around the final corner. He's a few seconds up the road from us, so we're going to get some in here. Here's Mick Schumacher in spectacular fashion, spins at the final corner. There's a whole field backing up behind. Yuki Tsunoda gets through okay, but we're now approaching the accident as someone wiped out a barrier there, and we get several overtakes there for free behind Alex Albon as well, who also gets through. Unfortunately, though, safety car is out for that one, and well, now we're going to have to try and fend off the field as the safety car comes in on lap 9. We've got a 4-lap sprint to the end of the race with Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon behind us, two cars which we know for sure are much faster. It looks as though a lot of the cars involved in the accident, I say accident in the spin, have come into the pits and have all ended up behind Nicholas Latifi and Théo Pourchaire, or of course just took forever to get going again as we rejoin the tyres. Absolutely freezing cold in the rain here as we follow yet again the Williams of Alex Albon through turn 1. Mounted the curb there, just trying to get the best traction. Also very mindful of the fact that Fernando Alonso is behind us in a car which is significantly faster. He was, of course, actually leading the sprint, or he won the sprint in the Austrian Grand Prix and nearly won the race had he not absolutely binned it nearer the end of the race. And allow Lewis Hamilton to get past. More coaching from Not Jeff behind us. Looks as though actually at the moment we're managing to hold position very slightly. Alonso does gain some time on us there as we try to take every line under the sun to try and get an advantage here. In the braking zone especially there, we seem to have the advantage over Alonso and our competitors. Is just still the straight line speed that is letting us down. Perhaps even some cornering needs to be upgraded as we continue on. So far we've not done very many aerodynamic upgrades, and that might be where we're starting to fall short behind the Williams on traction out of the corners rather than actual straight line speed. As you can see, we are still stuck behind the Williams, and at every opportunity Albon guts there as we nearly crash into Alonso going wide there, but the Williams still out of corners much faster than us, and we are not able to catch up to the back of him. So instead we'll rejoin on lap 11 as we got more coaching going on from Not Jeff as we come round the flat out right hander. We're still ahead of Alonso. I'll get confirmation that Fernando Alonso does have a mechanical problem, and he has dropped behind his teammate Esteban Ocon there as we come into Sector 3, which is great news for us. That's one less fast car behind us. Unfortunately, it allows Esteban Ocon to close up, which means that we're still under severe threat of being overtaken here. Maybe. It's not quite as bad as before. As we get yellow flags come out, I believe that is for Fernando Alonso, who has just come into the pits, presumably to try and fix the issue that he's having with the car. I did not know that that was a thing that the AI did on this game, but it has been noted that that may actually help in the future should we get any technical issues ourselves. Anyway, on board with Alonso, let's watch here what happened. There's us up ahead in the mist. Looks like a complete loss of power and nearly gets smashed into by his own teammate there. Although, actually, I think I might have just seen a puncture, which was the result there, which is of his slow speed. I'll have to go back and watch it, but it's too late now as we rejoin on the final lap. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz actually leading the race at the moment, I believe by a significant margin. At least they were before the safety car anyway. No pit stops other than Alonso so far on this race, so nothing much has changed from the starting order. Anyway, we are still behind Alex Albon and trying to push as much as we can because we know that he will be pushing. We might be able to try and get a position back from him. And Esteban Ocon as well, in his much faster car, will be on the attack as much as possible. As Yuki Tsunoda, an innocent bystander in the Mick Schumacher accidents, still in 11th, not able to get into the points. And we've not seen any of the top 10 pretty much for this entire race. As I've just noticed an enormous chunk of my nose is missing there from presumably an earlier accident, although I don't recall having one. At least it would have been in the video if I had done, or remembered having one. Perhaps that was when we nearly ran into the back of Latifi at the start of the race. Anyway, we weren't able to catch up there through the main straight, through the flat-out corners. We come into Sector 3. Esteban Ocon looks a little bit racy up behind us. Not an overtake opportunity for him, though. As we come round the final corner, it's not going to be enough to get into P12, but P13 is a good result for us. We celebrate with a massive accident there, breaking the rest of the front wing off, and sit in the middle of the pit lane with cars driving past us at speeds exceeding 20 miles an hour. We do, of course, get driver of the day, which is slightly funny because Alex Albon also had a numerous amount of overtakes, so could have been eligible. But anyway, another driver of the day for us. Not points, but it's something that we could declare as a victory in a way, as the rain just instantly stops as Charles Leclerc gets out of his car. The technology of the F1 teams in this day and age is absolutely incredible. I mean, not a single raindrop on the car. Although it is raining again now. Interesting that's happened. But anyway, he comes out onto the podium. Ha ha ha! He's mocked by the TV that he walks past towards the podium. Clearly, it is not a Ferrari fan, or maybe it is, and it's laughing at everybody else for not getting on the podium. Talking of which, the rain appears to have stopped yet again here in France. Very changeable conditions. It would have been nice if we saw them in the race, perhaps. But, well, it is what it is. Ferrari with another win. Carlos Sainz still at the top of the table. And here are the full race results. Of course, Charles Leclerc won the race. Carlos Sainz actually picks up the fastest lap of the race in second, followed by George Russell rounding out the podium. Then we had Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, and Kevin Magnussen rounding out the top 10. Over in the Drivers' Championship, of course, Carlos Sainz retains his position at the top of the table, ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Then it's his teammate Charles Leclerc in P3, ahead of the other Mercedes of George Russell. A close battle, that is. Then we have Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, Lando Norris, Kevin Magnussen, and Valtteri Bottas rounded out the top 10. Further down the order, we have the two Frenchmen, Esteban Ocon and then Pierre Gasly, who somehow jumped ahead of us there in the standings, despite us being tied. Then we have Mick Schumacher 1 point behind, and Daniel Ricciardo, followed by Yuki Tsunoda and Sebastian Vettel, the final point scorers. Then we have Lance Stroll, Zhou Guanyu, Alex Albon, and Théo Pourchaire, who moves ahead of Nicholas Latifi. And over in the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari remain at the top, ahead of Mercedes by 29 points, followed by Red Bull and Alpine. McLaren move ahead of Haas into P5, followed by Alfa Romeo in 7th. Then we have AlphaTauri 1 point ahead of Slothz, then Aston Martin and Williams rounding out the pack. That's all for today. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.